Hi, stock investors. JJ here. Welcome back. Well, let's get to the major news of the day. I'm going to react to this video. We've got the CEO of CrowdStrike, the global IT outage that happened today. You might have been aware of it, and people are certainly aware of CrowdStrike now, household name, but in a bad way because of this. Let's see what the CEO's got to say. What happened?
Jim Cramer this morning with a very special guest. Hey, Jim.
Thank you, Carl. Yes, we have to speak right now to George Kurtz, the CEO of CrowdStrike, a company that has a stellar reputation, but we want to know what this will do to it. George, thank you so much for coming on Squawk on the Street.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks for having me.
All right, George, I know your company very well. Our viewers know it too. How did this happen?
Well, first, Jim, let me start with, I want to personally apologize to every organization, every group, and every person who's been impacted by this. And we understand.
At least he's apologizing. This is where the CEO's money is made, where things like this can, whether they deal with this kind of thing properly, and apologizing would be the right thing to do, I would say.
Understand the gravity of the situation. And let me explain a little bit more about what happened. This was not a code update. This was actually an update of content. And what that means.
Okay, he's going to explain what happens. Let's just see what happened to the share price for the day. The stock price down for the day 11.1% at the end of the day. Frankly, I'm surprised it's not down more given the gravity of the situation, the global nature of it. Think about it, airlines and transport and hospitals, so much software, so many businesses and institutions, vital, were affected by this. So what's interesting there is 5 days, it's actually down 17.95%. So it was already sliding with this kind of tech wreck that's going on. 20% down over the past month. We pull back for the year to date, we can see that big downswing there, 21.89%, I believe, from the peak there. So with that backdrop in mind, and this has not helped them at all. Okay, let's go back to the CEO and see what he has to say.
Means is there's a single file that drives some additional logic on how we look for bad actors, and this logic was pushed out and caused an issue only in the Microsoft environment. Specific to this bug that we had.
Only in the Microsoft environment, like the majority of the computers on the planet.
We identified this very quickly and rolled back this particular content file. Obviously, many organizations are impacted, and many of them are beginning to recover. Many systems can be rebooted, and we've fixed the issue, so the systems are coming up and running. Some systems may not fully recover, and we're working individually with each and every customer to make sure that we can get them up and running and operational. But
there's going to be some ramifications because this, probably legal, given what the fallout might be globally. I'll look at that in the next video, what the fallout might be from this.
To be clear, it was not a cyber attack. It wasn't anything related to that. It was a content bug or update that we sent out, that we identified, and we rolled back.
Wow, so a bug that was sent out. And I understand that it was rebooting computers continuously. It was a massive mistake. It's going to hurt their reputation, certainly hurt their share price in the short term.
Why do many different users find themselves with the blue circle of death? And how do IT people get in touch with who is down? Because will this take, are we talking hours? Are we talking days?
Well, many of the systems are quickly coming online because they're able to be rebooted, and the problem goes away and is fixed. Some systems are going to take some more time. It could be hours, it could be a bit longer, but we're working with customers that if the system doesn't fully recover, we're working with them on the specific fix for that. So essentially, we are providing guidance through our tech support, through our blogs, everything that we know. We want to be as transparent as we can and get that out to our customers.
George, this is CrowdStrike we're talking about. Is this Falcon, which is your best program? And I need to know, why did you not phase this in? Why was this done all at once? That seems to be, to me, your response.
That's a good question from Kramer there. You can criticize Kramer, but that's a good question there. What went wrong? In a system level thing. I've seen a fix of people can go in and take out the file, delete the file, particular file themselves if they've got the tech savvy to do that. And a lot of people will not. This is a major mistake from CrowdStrike here. And as I said, people will be aware, be reading articles about this, about what happened to their computers, what's happening, and they're going to read that name CrowdStrike. That was their fault, not Microsoft's fault.
Well, it traditionally goes out in a phased approach, and it goes through, what we do is we've been doing this a long time, testing throughout the life cycle of any of these updates. So it initially went out and we started to see some issues and then pulled it back. So not all of our customers are impacted. Windows and Linux are not impacted. And as soon as we saw this issue, which didn't manifest itself before we obviously sent it out, we rolled it back. And now we're dealing with the impacted systems.
I saw somebody joking, not a bad taste joke, I suppose, about that CrowdStrike delivered the Y2K bug, but just 24 years later. That's how much of an impact it has had. Well, perhaps not that much based on what might have happened there, but it's definitely, this is globally, it just shows you how much a mistake that can be, how much of the world, how many businesses it can affect.
I want to be sure about this. This did or did not get to Azure, which is Microsoft's cloud, because if it did, then but maybe that would explain things, but maybe they're separate.
Well, Azure can run, customers run in Azure, right? And they can run our software there. So if there was a customer that was running in Azure that had our software, it could have been impacted. But that's the extent of what I know specific to the Microsoft piece.
You do not know whether this has impacted Azure or not?
Well, when you say Azure, it has impacted customers that are running in Azure. That's what I know.
All right. Now, let's talk about liability. You offered an apology. To me, an apology means that therefore you are culpable and therefore you will be sued, maybe perhaps sued by airlines, perhaps sued by networks, perhaps sued by banks. Let's talk about the liability to CrowdStrike and what it could mean.
Well,
he won't know yet, but I'm sure there are lawyers lining up to sue for sure.
We have to sort out what that all looks like, Jim. Obviously, from our perspective, and I wanted to jump on the air because it's all about our response and getting our customers back up and running. We'll do the hot wash on how this happened and ensure it doesn't happen again. I think past that, we'll deal with. My goal right now and my mission is to make sure that every customer is back up and running and providing the protection that they've come to rely on from CrowdStrike.
Do I believe that if the ones that have not come online yet perhaps have to be hand fixed, which would stretch every single IT department of everybody who is a client who you sent this update to?
Yeah, well, we're working on the automation. There's many times this can be automated to be fixed. It may take more automation than just simply rebooting the system. And that's what the teams are working on right now with customers. But we've been in contact with. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
We've been in contact with customers working through the fixes, and many of them again are coming back online.
I'd like to turn this over to my colleagues, David and Carl. Maybe you want to ask George something?
Yeah, Jim, thank you. And George, thanks for being here. Yeah, I mean, to Jim's point, I think right here, I know on the ground here at the New York Stock Exchange, our CNBC computers are going to require somebody apparently to come and actually do some sort of an update manually. So, again, this could take some time, couldn't it?
I think that possibly deleting that file that they're talking about, I mean, whether a lot of people can go and do it themselves, feel comfortable doing that, I'm sure that's probably what it is, getting rid of that update, that probably just one file as I saw so elsewhere, but how many people are prepared and want to do that, and might they delete the wrong file and that sort of thing?
And for organizations that are going to require somebody to actually manually update code or whatever it may be to be able to successfully reboot.
Yeah, there could be some manual steps involved, and certainly we're looking at ways to be able to automate those manual steps. And depending on the system and the computer brand and the network and how it actually works, it's different in each organization. Many systems can be rebooted, and the fix can be done automatically upon a reboot that's specific to the hardware manufacturer. So we have to work through that, but there is a manual fix for it that can be employed. And again, we're looking at ways to automate those sort of fixes so that it isn't as manual as going to exist.
Understood. You mentioned obviously some updated content, the issue with the Microsoft environment solely, but to what extent is Microsoft, or in the past, had they perhaps been able to identify something that might cause a problem? I'm just curious to understand if there's any culpability here in terms of Microsoft as a result of what's occurred.
Yeah, we're trying to sort out on our end, again, exactly the interactions. And as you might have.
Okay, so it's going to play the blame game there. Who's at fault here? There are legal ramifications and perhaps financial, and that would be one of the reasons that the stock price went down, apart from the emotional reaction here. What's going to happen with the stock price? What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this something that should ever happen from a company like this? It's a big company, such ubiquitous systems around the world use CrowdStrike. Even if they miss, some of them may not know. A lot of end users certainly wouldn't know what was going on there if if it's an institutional computing system they're using or whatever. Anyway, it's incredible. Another sort of a mini black swan event that happened today in the markets. And so I definitely had to report what's going on here. Now I'm going to put a link on screen to what YouTube thinks that you should watch next. Go and see that now if you want to. It might be one of mine. It might not be. And also a subscribe link on the screen. And do drop us a like. Do drop me a like there if you got some value out of this video. So it can spread to more people with the algorithm there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.